Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time we are going super small, like microscopic level
Oh,
small.
yeah.
Yeah, to explore those tiny but mighty structures inside our cells, organelles.
The powerhouses of the cell.
Right. You sent us some awesome material from Assay Genie, including a blog post focused on organelle markers.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we've also got a bunch of recent articles on all sorts of immunology topics.
I'm sensing a theme here.
You got it. But you might be wondering, what do organelles and immunology have to do with one another?
Yeah, good question.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today with the help of our expert.
Happy to help connect the dots.
Awesome. So the blog post describes organelle markers as molecular paintbrushes.
Ah, I like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I think our listeners might need a little help visualizing that.
Of course, yeah. So imagine you're looking at a cell under a microscope. Without organelle markers, everything is kind of jumbled together.
Like a blurry picture.
Exactly. But with organelle markers, it's like suddenly being able to paint different parts of the cell with specific colors.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you can highlight the nucleus one color, the mitochondria another color, and so on.
So we can actually see these tiny structures.
Yes, and study them with incredible precision. It's like turning a black and white photo into a vibrant, high-definition masterpiece.
That's amazing. So how do these molecular paintbrushes work? Are we talking about actual paint?
Not paint, but it's a similar concept. They come in different forms. We've got fluorescent proteins and dyes that emit light when you hit them with a laser.
Making the organelles glow.
Exactly. There are antibodies designed to bind to specific proteins.
So they act like homing beacons.
Precisely. And even genetically encoded reporters that we can insert into cells to track them over time.
Wow, that's some seriously high-tech stuff.
It is, and it's revolutionizing the field of cell biology.
That's super cool. But why should someone who's not a scientist care about any of this?
Because organelles are the foundation of life. They carry out all the essential functions of a cell.
Oh, right, like the organs of our cells.
Exactly. So the mitochondria, they're the powerhouses generating energy.
Right, and the lysosomes are like the recycling centers breaking down waste.
You got it. And the endoplasmic reticulum is like a manufacturing plant producing proteins.
So when these organelles malfunction, it can lead to problems.
It can lead to a whole host of diseases, actually.
So by studying organelles, we can understand how cells work and what goes wrong when we get sick.
Exactly. And ultimately, how to fix those problems.
That makes sense. And speaking of health, a lot of those articles you sent were focused on the immune system and its role in throwing cancer.
Right. Immunology is a fascinating field, and cancer is a complex disease.
For sure. So how do organelle markers fit into all of this?
Well, our immune system is constantly on patrol, identifying and eliminating threats.
Like viruses and bacteria.
Yes. And when it comes to cancer, the immune system is critical for recognizing and destroying those rogue cells.
So it's like a microscopic battle going on inside us all the time.
You could say that. And organelle markers are helping us understand this battle in amazing detail.
That's wild. One of the articles mentioned a technique called flow cytometry.
Right. Flow cytometry is like a high-speed cellular sorting machine.
I'm not going to lie, that one sounded a little over my head.
It can be technical, but the basic idea is pretty simple. We use a laser to analyze individual cells as they flow past a detector.
And how do organelle markers come into play?
Well, by using markers that bind to specific immune cells, we can identify and sort different types of cells, like T cells, B cells, and macrophages.
So we can see exactly who's involved in the immune response.
Yes, and how they're behaving. It's crucial for understanding how the immune system fights tumors and for developing new immunotherapies.
Okay, so it's like giving scientists a backstage pass to the cellular battleground.
Exactly. They can see the players, the strategies, and ultimately how to help the immune system win the fight.
The articles also mentioned a bunch of specific markers like TREM2 and FOXP3.
Right. Those are just a couple of examples of markers found on specific types of immune cells that are involved in the response to cancer.
So they're kind of like the key players in this microscopic battle.
Yes, each one plays a critical role. For example, TREM2 is found on these cells called tumor-associated macrophages.
Macrophages, those are the ones that engulf and destroy invaders, right?
That's right. But tumor-associated macrophages can be tricky. Sometimes they help the tumor grow, and sometimes they fight against it.
So we need to figure out how to get them on our side.
Exactly. And that's where organelle markers come in. They help us study these cells and figure out how to manipulate them.
Fascinating. What about FOXP3? What does that one do?
FOXP3 is a marker for regulatory T cells, or TREGs for short.
TREGs? What are those?
They're like the peacekeepers of the immune system. They prevent it from overreacting and attacking healthy tissues.
That's important.
Absolutely. But in cancer, TREGs can actually suppress the immune response against tumor.
Oh, no. That's not good.
Not good at all. So scientists are trying to find ways to temporarily block TREGs in the tumor environment.
So the other immune cells can attack the cancer.
Precisely. It's a delicate balancing act, but organelle markers are helping us understand how to tip the scales in favor of the immune system.
It sounds like organelle markers are revolutionizing the way we think about cancer treatment.
Absolutely. They're giving us new insights into the immune system and allowing us to develop more targeted and effective therapies.
It's incredible to think that these tiny markers are having such a big impact on human health.
It really is, and this is just the beginning. There's so much more to discover about organelles and their role in both health and disease. It's amazing, isn't it? All these complex interactions happening at the microscopic level.
It really is. It's like we've zoomed in on this hidden world inside our bodies.
Exactly. And organelle markers are giving us this incredible window into that world.
So it's not just about identifying the different types of immune cells. We can actually see what they're doing.
Absolutely. We can study their functions, how they communicate, how they respond to different signals. It's like watching a microscopic documentary.
Wow. So we're getting the whole movie, not just a snapshot.
Exactly, and that's so valuable for developing effective cancer treatments. Because we can see how the immune system is interacting with the tumor in real time.
So we can see what's working and what's not.
Precisely. And then adjust our strategies accordingly.
You mentioned that some of the articles talked about markers like CD155, TNFR-SF9, and PD1, PDL2.
Right. Those are all targets for new immunotherapies.
Okay, I remember seeing those names, but to be honest, they kind of all blurred together.
Yeah, it can be a lot to keep track of.
It can. Can we maybe break those down one by one?
Of course. Let's start with CD155. This marker is involved in suppressing the immune response.
So it's like putting the brakes on the immune system.
Exactly. And that's not what we want when we're trying to fight cancer.
Right, so researchers are trying to block CD155.
Exactly. Take the brakes off and let the immune system attack.
I like it.
Yeah.
What about TNFRSF9? I remember that one sounded like a superhero name.
It does, doesn't it? Well, it kind of is a superhero in the fight against cancer.
Oh, how so?
This marker is found on T cells, and when it's activated, it sends a signal that tells the T cell to kill the cancer cell.
So it's like the attack signal.
Exactly. And scientists are looking for ways to enhance the activity of TNFRSF9.
To make those T cells even more powerful.
Exactly. Boost that signal and make those cancer cells sorry they ever messed with the immune system.
Okay, that one's definitely going on my list of favorite immune system superheroes. What about that last one? PD1, PDL2. The articles mentioned something called dual blockade.
Right. That's a really exciting area of research.
It sounded promising.
It is. So the PD-1, PD-L1 pathway is basically a don't kill me signal.
A don't kill me signal.
Yeah. It's how cancer cells try to trick the immune system into leaving them alone.
Sneaky little buggers.
They are, but we're on to them. Blocking this pathway with drugs that target either PD-1 or PD-L1 is already showing great results in treating certain cancers.
That's great.
It is. But now researchers are finding that blocking both PD-1 and its partner, PD-L2, might be even more effective.
So double whammy.
Exactly. This dual blockade approach is showing a lot of promise in clinical trials.
That's amazing. It's like we're learning to speak the language of the immune system and use it to fight disease.
It really is. And we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with these therapies.
That's incredible. But it's not all about cancer, right?
Yeah.
The blog post also mentioned other applications for organelle markers, like studying organelle trafficking and neurodegenerative diseases.
You're absolutely right. Organelle markers are super versatile tools, and they're being used to study a wide range of cellular processes.
Let's talk about organelle trafficking for a minute. I remember the blog post mentioned something about organelles moving around inside the cell, but I didn't quite get why that was so important.
It is important. Imagine the cell like a city, a really busy city, and the organelles are like the different districts, each with its specialized function.
Okay, I can see that.
And there's constant movement between these districts. Organelles need to transport molecules, deliver cargo, and respond to changes in the environment.
So organelle trafficking is like the cellular transportation system.
Precisely. And it's essential for keeping the city running smoothly.
That makes a lot more sense. And you said something about neurodegenerative diseases. How does organelle trafficking play a role in those?
Well, many neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are characterized by the buildup of misfolded proteins in neurons.
Neurons, those are the brain cells, right?
Yep. the ones that transmit all the signals in our brains.
Right. I remember reading about those protein clumps.
Yes, and organelle trafficking is crucial for processing and transporting these misfoiled proteins.
So if the transportation system breaks down, those proteins can build up and cause problems.
Exactly. They can interfere with normal cell function and eventually lead to cell death.
And that contributes to the progression of the disease.
Right. And organelle markers are helping us study these trafficking pathways in detail, looking for ways to prevent those breakdowns.
So we could potentially develop new therapies for neurodegenerative diseases.
Exactly. By understanding how these cellular processes work, we can start to think about how to fix them when they go wrong.
Wow, it's incredible how much we're learning about these tiny structures inside our cells and their impact on our health.
It really is amazing. And we've only just begun to explore the possibilities.
It sounds like the future of medicine is going to be very, very small.
I think you're right about that. The more we understand about the microscopic world, the better equipped we'll be to tackle the big challenges in human health.
I mean, it's just really incredible how much we can learn from these tiny little markers.
It is. Organelles, they might be small, but they are mighty.
They really are.
Mm.
And it sounds like the field of organelle research is just exploding with possibilities.
Oh, absolutely. As scientists develop even more sophisticated organelle markers, who knows what we'll discover?
It's exciting to think about. So for our listener, what would you say is the key takeaway from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that size doesn't always matter. Organelles might be tiny, but their impact on our health and well-being is huge.
That's a great point.
They really are the foundation of life.
And thanks to organelle markers, we've got these amazing tools to explore that hidden world inside ourselves.
Exactly. It's like we've been handed a microscopic key to unlock the secrets of life itself.
I love that. Well, on that note, we'll leave our listener with this thought. Given the incredible complexity of organelles, what other groundbreaking discoveries might be out there just waiting to be uncovered thanks to these powerful tools?
It's an exciting time for sure. So keep exploring, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of the microscopic world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Until next time, happy exploring, everyone.